They say that madness runs in the family, but I would disagree. I would more likely say that my family in its history has been plagued by a series of grievously unfortunate events that took the tolls on the mind of my great grandfather, my grandmother, and most recently, my father. It simply wasn't within our control. For example, great grandpa Stefan wasn't always the sheltered recluse of a man that my mother used to tell me of. He was once a great role model and a brilliant biologist, who womanized in his youth with his countless exploits and trips to the Amazonian jungles and Middle Eastern deserts that had amazed him with great wealth and exotic pets within his estate. But after his wife died, he became attached to the bottle. He would lock himself up days on end, shouting to seemingly no one in his atrium, full of insects and snakes. On a rare occasion, she saw him, and my mother, with a weak sigh. He rarely spoke in coherent words. He simply jabbered at his glass tanks, and with his creatures crawling within, understood every word. They say it was due to the drunken accident he was found in a mansion, dead, lying in a glass tank along with 5 fat-tailed scorpions. And then there was dear old Grandma Susan. I still remember when she would show off her marvelous sketches of the forest. I still remember when she was still a sweet old lady that would bake us cinnamon and raisin cookies, rich with brown sugar, straight from the oven, so that they were still moist and hot. Of course, this was only one day. She tried to feed my brother and I cookies with a fat, squirming cockroach baked into each one. I remember her protest as her mother pulled us out of the kitchen. "They're full of goodness and sweet dreams and chicken." We never really saw her again after that. No more trips to Grandma's. No more cookies. No more cockroaches. I don't know what was with the cockroaches. She started drawing those everywhere. I looked through her notebook during the funeral at our house after she was found beside the bottle of powerful roach killer. They were full of elaborate drawings of cockroaches and peculiar writings about swarms and buzzing in her ears. I miss Grandma, but I suppose everybody goes senile sooner or later. It couldn't be helped. She did look so calm in the casket, so dignified. She would have been proud to go that way. But my father, well, I'll admit I'm not too sure about my father. He was always quiet, rarely reprimated, almost never saying a word. I don't know why my mother married him. I don't know why they bother having my brother and I, because they so rarely even acknowledge we exist. I never knew quite what to think of him. I loved him, I suppose, despite everything he's done. I love him. I love him when he put me to sleep as a child, when he gave me the rare smile after doing well in school, and when I came home to find my mother and my brother strangled and collapsed in a pile in the backyard. My father was nearby playing in an anthill, watching the creatures run the length of his long, rough fingers. It's sad indeed, our family history. There is very little pride in holes where the insects crawl, because here family and fate means nothing, as all that matters is feeding the hive, feeding the king. But I suppose that our unfortunate incidents were inevitable acts of survival of the fittest. Our great-grandfather was a mighty man, but even cockroaches can be squashed. And as greatly as they may try, those little ants cannot hope to escape the slaughter of a beautiful, invincible scarab. The claws and the shell and the wings and the mandibles give me shivers every time I caress them. In that infinitesimal moment of tension where their carapace bends before it shatters beneath the tooth is exhilarating. Even in its soft cage, they still come to me in silence to feed me, to give me blessings from the king with feelers and legs and hooks. They say that madness runs in the family, but I would disagree. The scour whispers otherwise as it burrows into my brain.